Last thing I forgot to mention, expect heavy spoilers for every single game on this list. I'm not going to shy away from talking about events or deaths or anything that happens to these characters. So if you see a character on this list from a franchise you want to play or you're interested and you're scared for spoilers of it, just skip through it or mute it. Just you're you're at risk, okay? I'm putting you at risk, buddy.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
She eyes you suspiciously.
Not the future, no, but I can read the past in flesh. Just like you. And I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
This is the last character on my list from Divinity. It's the elf, Sebille. I was also elf when I created them because they had this weird look to them. And I went into Divinity Original Sin 2 knowing that like elves were cannibals. And that's like restored health. It was just a weird thing. Like it was a part of their culture that they were cannibals. You know what? I want to get into that. So I became an elf too. And as soon as I talked to Sebille, I liked her attitude. If I'm going to give a comp for her, at least initially, I kind of felt like a mix of Lae'zel and Astarion, probably. And I think that kind of fits. But they're their own characters. That's just for people that only play Baldur's Gate 3. Sebille has a lot going on. Her main thing is she's got a lot of people that are trying to be masters over her. Initially, it's her actual master. His name was like the Shadow Prince, and she did killings for him. She was basically under his thumb through this song that controlled him, but she broke free of that, and then you're helping her get revenge, or you cannot, but I helped her get revenge because I'm an elf, you're an elf. We're going to be two baddies that eat people as elves. That was my theme with Sebille. I just wanted my baddie cannibal romance option, okay? Sue me. I would have thought that it would have culminated with the Shadow Prince death, killing him, and then, Sebille's free, blah, 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 blah. We're all happy in it. No, that is not it. She's also something called the Prime Scion. Basically, what would happen is she became the Mother Heart. She would lose who she was, is how I took it. And, like, she just got free of the Shadow Prince. That for me, it's like, this is just another group. She says it too. It's another master. Even if it's not as direct as like turning her into a monster and killing people, she's still losing her complete identity. And the elves literally fight you for not joining or fulfilling your destiny as the Prime Scion. So like, fuck you. I'm going to stick with my other elf, Sebille. And we're going to elf out on you. And then we're going to eat you and eat your memories. Another thing, I'm going to add, this is Sebille adjacent, but there's like a burial you do with an elf, and part of that ritual is, damn, I'm gonna sound crazy here. But the elves, when they're burying someone, they eat a part of their flesh to like retain their memories, I guess, and become a part of the dead. And I am not saying I would do that, but I thought it was a very cool way to like explain the elven culture, and it was like a sweet moment it was a good way to showcase elven culture in like a way that they didn't seem crazy for eating people. They made me seeing them eat people and be like, oh yeah, that's like a ritualistic thing. Maybe if I was an elf and I died, I'd want you to like eat my heart or something. Yeah, take my actually, I don't know if you want my memories, but maybe if I can like selectively remove some. But I just like that. It's a cool. I love the elves, and these are my favorite elves in any game. I like the look of them. I like the cannibal theme. I like their culture. I'm excited to see where they take it into the new Divinity, because now after playing this game and you're seeing that teaser where they're eating and all the flesh and the fucking and all that, I'm sure the new Divinity is going to go absolutely crazy when it comes out in like 20 whatever. Take your time. I didn't even expect to see a trailer for a new Larian Studios Language is Be My Ass Day game anytime soon. I'm very excited for it. Sabille, this doesn't have. Last thing I'll say about Sabille, this doesn't have any impact on Sabille is a very great character. She came across to me like she might be the edgy one in the group, but she's actually got a lot of integrity and high morals. She's a bit cheeky too. Love that. She was my favorite character throughout this game. She was the character that, because I also had the most fun playing her, and I enjoyed the interactions with a lot. Before I even had the choice of locking in the 3 in Act 1, out of all the characters, I would bet Sabille was the one that was the most constant on my rotation. And that's because, romanced her, fought a lot with her, engaged with her story. I think she had it all. Not to say Lohse didn't. She did too. But I think Lohse has a bit slower parts than Sabille's, which I kind of felt like there was at least enough every single act. Even if Act 4 was the slowest for her, I think because I romanced her, I got a lot more dialogue than maybe I wouldn't have if I didn't. So I always felt like I was getting enough stuff from Sabille throughout the entire journey.
Deep down it feels like a betrayal. A just betrayal. I know that many will say I've failed our people, but I don't think I have. Even as I sat on the Prime Scion's throne as a child, watching pilgrims pass by in worship, I could hear her whisper, much like the Master would whisper, Mother and Master. There was precious little difference between the two. Both of them longed for power so absolute it's no more than an abstract. Yet it is that very abstract that causes so much actual misery for those that stand in its way. My heart may be conflicted, but my mind is not. I did the right thing.
I recently replayed The Wolf Among Us. That was to reaffirm my position on where I had Bigby on this list, because I didn't even think it was this long until I looked at my trophies. I have not played The Wolf Among Us. What was it? It was I think it was 8 years on the dot, pretty much, when I did my replay. Goddamn. There were a lot of twists and turns in that game's narrative that I completely forgot. But also, Bigby earned his spot on this list. He didn't really move at all from replaying. He was here the whole time, but I'm happy to say when I replayed, he's just as good as I remember. He's got that sheriff that's, just an alcoholic, but he's a chill guy. So, he's got a lot of grit to him, I guess, is what I'll say. But his exterior, his big bad wolf exterior, as they say in Fabletown, sheds throughout this experience. Shout out Snow also. Snow doesn't make the list, but Snow was a great character. And she does a good job of really showing the benefits of Bigby. And again, this is another one of these characters that it depends on the story you decide to take him. I remember the first time, I think I had a worse ending, and Bigby didn't really get that redemption, where when I did a recent replay, I feel like I was able to have him turn and overall get people to look at him in a better light. Some parts I don't like is it kind of feels like the game forces him to either be like the big bad wolf or the sympathetic caregiver who is going to ruin the town because he's not setting the law. Because it's too extreme, I guess. Because there was a guy I was maybe getting a little rough with. I just put a little cigar on him, and now everyone acts like I cut his fingers off. I didn't handle the torture probably the best way, but they were hamming up how much I beat. They were acting like I put every prompt to smash a bottle on his head, pull a fingernail off, spit in his face, when I just did a little cigar on the hand. So I wish there was a little more gray, where it can be a little black and white in the extremes. But as a character, I just always love Bigby. He is up there with the best of these type of games protagonists. I do have a soft spot for him, or just The Wolf Among Us in general, because this is like the first Telltale game that showed they could do like something I wasn't familiar with and get me really invested in it. The Walking Dead, I was already familiar with. I already was a super fan. I've fallen out of love with that, but at the time, I was a big fan of The Walking Dead. The Wolf Among Us, I have no experience with. I've never read the comics, but I was genuinely super invested in this story both times I've played. The 8 years have not changed the theme. Bigby is still a great character. Wolf Among Us is still a great game. I spoil a lot, and you're gonna get spoiled watching this. But even with all the spoilers, I think you should check out The Wolf Among Us. It's a quick game and a great narrative. And we're probably never getting a sequel. I know there's rumors in development, and it's been on and off and on and off. I'm not believing that shit until we're like a month away from it coming out. Because you are not gonna... I would not get my hopes up again for this damn franchise.
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
Heavy damage. Standard transmissible test estimated at 30 short battery control. Activating short-range attack gear. Alert. Large enemy group detected.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
It's been a while since I played Nier, but one thing that really surprised me when I did play the Nier games, which were a little late, was how good the stories were. Because some of the ways the characters look, especially 2B and Kane, I believe it's pronounced Kane. Again, it's been a while. But their outfits go a little crazy. So, yes, despite the maid attire, 2B is a great written character. And the Nier games have great stories that get you invested. Even me, who it's been a minute, and I'm going to, as far as the nuances for what's going on with 2B as a character, I'm not going to be able to speak on that as much. But her journey and growth, I did enjoy. And then, throughout the layers that come from replaying Nier Automata, you learn more about the characters and the weaving. 2B deals with a lot of suppression of emotions and not really wanting to face or just denying that she can even have emotions. And throughout the bonding with 9S, you learn that she does. And she's also a very strong, fighter character that has so much turmoil going on. Similar to other characters I've spoken about. In some ways, I would say a somewhat Tifa. I would say personality-wise, not at all, but the turmoil and the fight and the resilience they have is similar. But 2B is a lot more tragic of a character. 2B is forced to kill 9S way more than you think throughout the entire Nier games in this loop and cycle. 9S is tied to keeping her alive, but she has to then kill him and repeat that cycle so many times, and she has to put that emotion away to do this ability. But throughout the Nier Automata game, to me, it's all culminating in a breaking point for her as a character, where she willingly lets herself die because she cannot bear to keep doing this act, to keep living this cycle of pain that she lies to herself that isn't happening. And it's one of the more tragic characters. It's a dark ending, and it's sad, and you feel for 2B. 2B's one of those characters that seems stoic and edgy, but the more you get to know him, you understand it, and you're right there with him. You're I would be depressed too. I understand you wanting to die at this point. God damn, this is brutal. So yeah, 2B's a great character. It's been a while since I played Nier, but I wouldn't be surprised if I do a replay. I literally don't even know if I got to ending E when I played it. I know how it ends, but I don't know if I actually like. I know I got to at least C. I don't know if I ever actually did D and E. So she could jump up a lot higher if I actually played it more recently, honestly.
But I couldn't access any storage areas yet. So I just multiplexed it over the memories of some nearby enemies so that when I returned to my own body,
Ines. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
It always ends like this. What is it that separates machines from androids like us? The machines have gained emotions, consciousness. The final screams they summoned on the edge of death. They still echo within me.
I thought you'd be bigger. But you're definitely the one. Long way from home, aren't you?
Besides watching my dad play the Greek God of Wars, my actual first experience with God of War was 2018. So Baldur, I might mispronounce it because I haven't played it. Baldur, the guy from Lost also, shout out Lost, was my first villain in God of War. And I really love Baldur. I'll just give a little surprise. Zeus is not on this list. Odin is not on this list. Baldur is on this list. Thor was on this list, fell off this list. So Baldur is kind of I think he is my highest ranking God of War villain. And that comes a little with him being the introduction for me, but also I just really enjoy his character of someone who like is fighting to feel something. He's in so much pain, and it's also his relationship with other characters. I think God of War 2018 did a great job of like that Baldur and Freya relationship. And Baldur's a character that his death causes so much ripple effects into even Ragnarok, where Freya is in such disarray because Kratos killed Baldur. But you had to kill that fucker. He was deranged, and he was going to kill Freya. It had to end at some point. But Baldur has a deep-seated pain that comes from Freya just trying to protect him and her fear over him getting hurt. But Baldur has that agency taken from him, and I think that makes him a very compelling villain, because he's not he's not evil, but he's also a piece of shit, and he's annoying, and like in your cutscenes, he's a cocky dickhead, and you want to beat the shit out of him. But when you're beating him, he's like laughing, and he's like happy that he's disappointed, or he's happy that he's actually getting hurt. So he's twisted, but he's a great villain with an amazing story. I've always loved the scene of him tweaking when you're in Helheim, like going on the scaffolding, for lack of a better word, with Atreus, and he's just screaming at like this past moment in his life with Freya, and like you really get a sense of all the hatred that comes from his immortality. Like he literally is doing this task he was set out to do, to not be immortal. I mean, just that mindset, dude. I would take immortality in a second, man. Yeah, I know. I'll probably regret it like a billion years from now, but like, it'd be worth it for me. Give me that immortality. But Baldur makes you think, okay, maybe I don't want to be immortal. I'll talk a little more when I get to Kratos. Spoiler, Kratos is on this list. But Baldur is a kind of reflection of that earlier version of Kratos, and he does a lot of... Baldur and Kratos both enhance each other's characters, obviously. Like, that's like... as for the whole list, you'll see, like, countless games are from... Or countless characters are from the same games. That's because they can all enhance each other. It's the relationships between them. Baldur and Kratos is a great... I don't even know if I love it for the rivalry. I love it for Baldur being a reflection of that Greek hatred Kratos, and Kratos seeing Baldur and stopping him, but also being able to reflect on, like, he does kind of understand what Baldur was going through, because he was that vindictive towards his parents when he was in that mindset. So yeah. That's Baldur, my favorite God of War villain. He's not the most bombastic. He's a smaller name in comparison to some of the other villains in the Pantheon. But I think Baldur is the best.
What? No, Father!
I realize I don't need you to understand anything. I don't need you at all.
Back off, Kratos. This has nothing to do.
Why? Why do you even care? You could have walked away.
The Cygovians here must be better than this.
No.
Finally.
Where am I?
It's been a long time, Grimoire Weiss.
This is officially my favorite book in any medium. Grimoire Weiss is one of the funniest, one of the wittiest, one of the wisest characters I've ever met. When I started Replicant, I didn't really know what to expect. It was my first Nier game, and Grimoire Weiss is kind of like the first character that really made me attach to the story. There's other great Nier characters, but Weiss, I think, is the first one that like you get hooked with instantly because he's a book, but he's wise. He's got a great voice. Liam O'Brien sounds amazing as Grimoire Weiss. Weiss is definitely headstrong, and one of my favorite parts of Nier is him butting heads with Kain. Might not have the best chemistry, but in a fighting way, they have great chemistry because they were squabbling a lot. But Weiss does genuinely have a great arc, and him kind of learning to trust other, not trust other people, to learn to actually care about other people and get his kind of head out of his pages. Weiss's growing compassion for the people around him in your group and Kain leads to one of the best scenes in the endgame when he's standing up for you. And he has his attitude with him still, you dress him by his full name. I'm Grimoire Weiss, a name not to be abbreviated and that sort. But he's such a compelling character for just being a book. And it's a testament to like the writing of Nier in general, that they can make you care so much about a damn book from the second you meet him. And it's also a testament to the great voice acting of Liam O'Brien. Yeah, I love Weiss. To me, it'll pretty much always be one of the characters I think about when I think about Nier, because he's really the first character that I like really was compelled by when I first played a Nier game.
But I fear this is where our journey ends.
Weiss!
Oh, and remember what I told you about using my full name. Do not abbreviate my name! Well, forget it. I've grown rather fond of Weiss. Weiss. I knew you'd come around. Don't let it go to your head now.
You do that, we both die. Hey. Fucking hell.
I'm jumping straight to the end here, okay? So spoilers for Clair Obscur. I think Lune's ending is one of the most hard-hitting endings in any game ever. Because Lune gets so screwed over. And I'm talking about with the Verso ending here. First, she is erased. And then she's brought back. And she is pissed off at you. Because Verso obviously does a bit of lying here and there. And Lune feels very betrayed by Verso. But she's able to forgive him and carry on. And then, for her to be met with the same fate of being betrayed by Verso again is her look, man, that shit hurts more than daggers. She is staring at you. You didn't need any words for Lune if her final scene. I would have loved to hear her say something, because, I mean, anything from Lune, I would love to hear. But you just need that look. Lune being a character who was very much raised under her parents' tutelage to be ambitious and follow in their footsteps, and she is the most, like, pushing towards being, like, setting out to accomplish goals. And then when you got a motherfucker like Verso that can just, like, completely dash away any plan she had, she's going to take that very personally, especially with the little sprinkle on top of, yo ass dead forever now. You can see how Lune is kind of just, like, defeated. And that's how I interpret it at the end of Clair Obscur. Like, she's pissed in herself, in the world, and she's just defeated. And I hate that I have to do that to her and say that's the ending I'd pick every single time. That's how I feel. It's nothing against Lune. I really enjoy my time with her. She's a great character. I love the chats you have with her about her, talking about how kind of her life can feel boiled down to just being a researcher and the expeditions and her parents' work. But it's what she has to do, is what she feels like. And, you know, getting the closure with her parents to end off on Lune, I think the real tragedy in her character is that she kind of feels like a character that was robbed of, like, living a life. She had to follow in her parents' footsteps, or she felt like she had to, and that pushed her into a life that never got to experience probably a lot of joy that she could have. And you think you accomplished a goal, you realize you didn't, you get erased, you come back, and then just to get erased again, it's like all that shit you were fighting for, all that stuff that was built up from the second you were born, ended in failure.
My only value to them, not as a daughter, but as a backup plan for their legacy. They always said at the end of the game, there are no points for effort, only results.
But I am sorry I broke your trust. And I will do everything I can to help bring everyone back.
I guess we'll see.
Professor Morden Solus?
Don't recognize you from area. Too well armed to be refugees, no mercenary uniform, quarantine still in effect. Here for something else? Vorcha? Crew to clean them out? Unlikely. Vorcha a symptom, not a cause. The plague. Investigating possible use as bioweapon. No. Too many guns.
Love of God, take a breath.
And this is the Mass Effect character that is on the list that I spent the least amount of time with. And that is because you get him, I wouldn't say at the start of ME2, but early on in ME2, and then he's not a companion in ME3, and he can die like about halfway, and that one maybe a bit over halfway. But Morden as a character is just so much fun, whether it's his rapid speech and his weird way of talking. And I didn't even know doing this video they've like recasted him from ME2 to 3. The recast did a great job because I did not recognize it at all. And you'd think you would with such like a particular way of speaking like Morden. But hell of a job by both of them. Just gonna say that. And then with Morden, even though it's not just like the funny voice and the way of speaking that comes with Morden, even though he also has weird lines about reproducing with Shepard and like his Solarian song. He has great moments, but also Morden has a very moving story about the genophage. And the genophage is this disease that absolutely fucks the Krogan. And Morden didn't initiate the disease, but he did do a tweaking that kept it going on with the Krogan, because the Krogan were thought of as a species that if they just run wild, they'll take over. So it's a bit of like I don't know, they're viewed like an invasive species, I guess, like they had to get the population under control. So that's how Morden kind of viewed it. He took his like, for lack of a better word, and I want to say humanity, I'll say solanity. Vader line he took that out of it and he just tweaked it like he was helping the universe by keeping the Krogan under control. But with the experience of ME2 in his companion quest, and then like going into ME3, well, more ME2 is where he learns that like, no, he absolutely devastated the Krogan, and he pays some debts for that. And it's such a touch. It's probably the best loyalty mission. I think Morden's just like his arc that he goes to with the Genophage. And then when you go to ME3 and he's able to get the cure dispersed to the Krogan, it's like that moment is so fucking meaningful. And it's done beautifully when you're seeing it like disperse in the air on that tower. Like, god damn, that it's such just a brilliant loyalty mission that spans 2 games in its conclusion. And then Morden, I think there's a way he can live it, but I just love the ending where like it's a sacrifice for him to die, and it's like such a bookend to his story that goes from ME2 to ME3. I love Morden so much. He's such a compelling character, and his turn and viewpoint you can give him as Shepard, I think, is one of the like best stories in all of Mass Effect. So yeah, I love Morden. He was always on this list. Climbed a little bit on a replay, but same general area. He didn't really do much moving.
My science studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of...
Shepard, please. Need to do this. My project, my work, my cure. My responsibility. Would have liked to run tests on the seashells.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong.
Robert Robertson III. Not to be confused with Robert Robertson Jr. or Robert Robertson. This is Robert Robertson III. Well, they're all the Mecha Man, I guess. What's a title that's only his? The third in the line of Robertson, I guess. This guy is he a little too cool at times? And I'm a little jealous of him, yeah. Does Aaron Paul's voice piss me off because I wish I had it? Yeah. But Robert Robertson is a great character. I love his motivational speeches. He could be, if we're just strictly ranking gaming characters off of their ability to give speeches, I think Robert Robertson might solidify himself in the top 10 for his amount of speeches given to success rate, to TikTok edit rate. I think he hits a high bar in all those, to where it's a very rare accomplishment for a character to do this. So for that one fact, Robert Robertson is obviously a standout character. But besides that, he's also got a pretty good story. You start the game watching him just do what seems like a normal-ish job, goes to shit. Then he's retired. He gets picked up by Blonde Blazer. A lot of people pick Blonde Blazer as the romance option. For me, it didn't really click with me. I was more of a Visigal person. I'll go into more of my feelings at the end when I'm talking about Robert Robertson and how I feel about where his narrative should lead. But he finds purpose with this team, and also is able to give the other members of the team a purpose. But despite all that, Robert Robertson, they don't really portray as like he's completely in the dumps. He more feels like someone that can get himself out of a situation regardless, but this just gives him a new purpose besides like fighting crime. Because Robert Robertson as a character is like genuinely just a good dude, a hardworking dude. Cares for his body. You like catch him working out, even if Flambe has to help him. He's genuinely motivated about himself. The one thing I don't like in Invisible, like calls him having a dad bod. What kind of fucking dad bod is that, dude? That's like calling Jason Momoa a dad bod. Like, what are you talking about? Robert Robertson, I don't think has as much believable directions to take the character as compared to like Bigby, where you can kind of go good and bad. Robert Robertson, to me, he feels a lot more good in nature, and they don't really push like making him a complete villain. He can do some rough things, but to me, it always feels in character, whatever choice you make, to like the core of who Robert Robertson is, which is like a motivator. I did some rough things. I kicked Gollum's ass out of a meeting. He didn't like that. Coop, I wasn't able to get us to join back, so she ends up going in the cop car. But regardless, I think Robert Robertson is a very rootable character. It's a great performance. I did really like his relationship with Invisigal, but because of all the lying that happens there, my preference, I wanted an ending where Robert Robertson was just like, Invisigal, you can stay on the team and all that, but I just want to be alone. I felt like that's how I mentally felt with Robert Robertson, but that is not the ending we got. I just genuinely really enjoyed Robert Robertson as a character. He's like a very great character to have like as the face of this franchise, I think. I can't wait to see him in the second season. Obviously, I would prefer if he stays the main protagonist. We can delve into more of the history with Mecha Man, seeing what happens in season 2 with like the returning characters. Obviously, they'll include new people. That's probably going to be like 4 years from now, so I'm not going to talk too much. There's no point in really delving into it too much because I'm going to just forget about it by the time like a trailer comes out when I'm like fucking 27,000 years old.
You're all part of the Phoenix program. Any of you know what a Phoenix is?
Ooh, city in Arizona.
Yeah, the sweltering ball sack of America.
Nah, if Florida's the dick, then Louisiana's gotta be the ball sack. Just, position.
The Phoenix, according to legend, is a beautiful bird of prey that was so tired of its immortality, it tricked the sun god into dropping a spark on its nest to set it ablaze, burning it to shit. But instead of dying, the Phoenix emerged from ash, reborn. All of you in this room are Phoenixes, and it's obvious what that means. But for you dumb ones, I'll spell it out. The Phoenix symbolizes redemption. It's what you're here for. It's what connects everyone in this room. To burn up who you were, to become who you were meant to be.
Brother, in case you can't resurrect me, there's something you need to know. The boy, the longer you wait to tell him his true nature, the more damage you do. He will resent you, and you may lose him forever.
There is much about me I would not have him know.
So you value your privacy more than your son, eh?
I'm going to cut off your head now.
Fair enough.
How you doing, brother? That's my Mimir impression. That's the best you'll get. Mimir, what a lovely guy. I think he is arguably the heart of God of War's new era. Also, okay, this is going to be a bit of a tangent because I just heard that Ryan Hurst got cast as Kratos. That gives an idea of when I'm filming this. I'm not going to say I'm filming this in 2027. But Ryan Hurst, I'm excited to see as Kratos. I remember him in The Walking Dead, and he was also Thor. He's got the voice of someone that can definitely portray Kratos. And having seen him as Beta, he definitely can have like the physicality of Kratos. So I'm excited for that. I just want to throw that shout. Mimir, that's going to be a hard one. I would like the same guy. I would have liked the same guy for Kratos too. A lot of these, I think you could just do the same people because it's all the performances are so great. But Mimir's voice is so iconic and the storytelling ability. I don't know how you really bring that into a TV show because a lot of the best parts of Mimir come from like he can fill in time when you're just on a boat. and he'll make you stop being on the boat and like sailing because you want to like really lock in on hearing Mimir's story. Like that's a strength of God of War as a whole, but Mimir is probably the strongest version of like that character that you want to stop and listen to every sentence when he's speaking. Also, just as advice, he's #1 advice giver. He helps Kratos become a better father. He's able to mentor Atreus through a lot of his tumultuous themes, and especially Kratos and Atreus' relationship. Mimir can be the glue between them. Especially in Ragnarok, when they are feuding, Mimir does feel like the solid middle ground that can have both sides get along with each other. Mimir also has his own stuff going on, a little love story with one of the Valkyries that is not like the most fleshed out, but it's something I've always enjoyed, and getting the Valkyries to fight with you very much feels like a bit of a Mimir plotline, or even in, I think, 2018 when you're hunting down the Valkyries with Mimir's, when you first get that little tidbits of his relationships. And yeah, Mimir is just an OG tree. I love the tree, man. Way better than Groot. #1 guy attached to #1 tree adjacent character, I guess you could say. I think he would be the #1 tree adjacent character on this list, unless I'm missing like a character that's upcoming had a moment where they were like glued to a tree or something. I think we can safely say Mimir is the #1 tree adjacent. Why am I saying tree adjacent when he's probably the #1 just ahead character? That's a much easier thing to say. Mimir, I'm assuming, is my highest ranking just ahead character. So he's in a category of 1, and his knowledge, there's a reason he is only ahead, because his knowledge is so supreme, it could only be in just ahead. Bars. On to the next one.
Where? You may tell a story, if you wish.
Am I preferable to silence at last? A rare day. I'm touched. But since you mention it, there has been one on my mind of late. It goes back to my earliest days, when I had little more to do than observe the mortals who passed through our forest. Oh, I got a chuckle. A rare day indeed.
Vice! You dumbass! Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry! Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace! How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord! Come over here and give Vice a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord! Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us!
Kaine has this sort of attitude. It's like this typical character that is rough at start, but then you realize how protected they are about the people they care about, and as you play the game, Kaine ends up getting close to you and the group around you. Even Grimoire Weiss, if they have a bit of banter back and forth, she gets close to all of them. And seeing her, Kaine comes across to me as someone who just like really values like real friendship and deep friendship. So when she actually has it, she will do anything to make sure that they're safe and that it maintains. But it's hard to get to that point with her because a lot of the time she has the exterior of shit-talking, bantering, and acting like a badass, like she has no emotional turmoil, when she does have a good bit of turmoil within her. It's been a while since I played Nier, so I might like fuck up the verbiage or not be like 100% like accurate here, but Kaine was like possessed, and that led to her being an outcast. And there's also like, I think she's intersex. She's got a lot of stuff going on with possession, and just not feeling like she actually has a group with her. And I really enjoyed her journey and joining the group and really feeling like a real member that was a part of this tight-knit group that was forming throughout Nier. Nier Replicant is incredible. Automata is like probably objectively the better game because it's also got an incredible story and the gameplay's a lot better. But Replicant's story, I think for me, hit harder for me. I just found myself loving the characters even more than in Automata, and I do love those characters also. But I mean, with Kaine, with Grimoire Weiss, Emile, all great characters. Love them. I love the interactions between them. And also, this was my introductory game to Nier and learning about how this franchise is beyond like the fucking outfits, the promiscuous, big word, promiscuous outfits that they wear.
I swore that I would be your sword! Do you hear me?
Our journey may have been meaningless.
Our past may have been a mistake.
But we're not going back.
Even if this world comes to an end.
Because this is the world with the people we cherish.
So I am going to get you back, and I don't care what it takes!